Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of That's So Matthew. Today, I am so excited and so ready to be petty with Torry once again. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to talk about this movie.
I am so excited too. It was, when you picked this movie, I was like totally Lindsay Lohan, let's do it, but I'd never seen it.
I know, which I'm so excited that I got to introduce you to this classic movie. I was actually going to ask you a question. Is this considered a DCOM?
I
know
don't
you've
think so.
expanded, but
Yeah.
I was just like, it is by Disney, but it wasn't just it didn't air just on the chat, the TV. So I didn't know.
I don't think it is, but it has all of the DCOM vibes. It checks
Yes.
all of the boxes.
Absolutely. Totally.
It is so funny. And the cast of this movie is so iconic.
I know. Megan Fox, in her early days, and then obviously Lindsay, she's such a superstar. She just screams star power.
Yes, she does. And the teacher, who's played by Carol Kane from what's it, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes, iconic.
I didn't even know it was her until the very end. I was like, you're joking.
I know. Well, she does such a good job as the nerdy, stuttering drama teacher.
It was just so good. I was obsessed with it, honestly.
Good.
And Lindsay Lohan also, this is I believe the same year that Mean Girls came out.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that she's in that era. I just feel like her hair and her makeup and stuff, it's definitely very 2004, but it is so wild how vastly different those movies are, because obviously Mean Girls is, I feel for an older audience, and this is such a cusp movie where I feel kids could watch it, but also there's something for I don't know, older people too.
Yeah, no, I really liked that thing about this movie. We were talking before we started, the alcoholic part.
Yes. I literally did not remember that was included in this movie until I obviously saw Stu Wolf, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a pretty serious topic to kind of touch on, and wouldn't usually happen in a DCOM.
Yeah, and it just came out of nowhere, but honestly, it was appreciated. I thought it was a good comedic filler.
Yes. Yeah. And I love when he was and spoiler alert, but when he was some sweet girl told me to clean up my act, and I did, and I was like, this is so ridiculous.
It's so funny. Just this whole movie, the whole musical, which we will get to, as a theater person, that drove me up a wall.
Oh my God. It's just so unrealistic, but it's great. I love it. And the concept of bringing classic theater to a have a modern twist. I just thought that was so funny.
The orchestra literally being the computers where they would press.
I couldn't. I wrote that down in my notes because I was like, that is just why does no one talk about that? That's so iconic.
And the fact that in 2022, 18 years later, still hasn't happened.
I know. I was like, I don't think that's how playing live music goes, just a bunch of kids on their MacBooks orchestrating whatever,
literally just clicking it. It was just so funny. I am so obsessed.
Yeah.
So this came out on February 17th, 2004, which is, we're pretty close to February 17th. It's February 6th right now. So almost 18 years ago, this movie came out.
Wild. So older than you.
Yes, older than me by only 7 months. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because as I start talking about these movies and it's oh, this came out 18 years ago, I'm like, wait, I'm turning 18 this year. That's kind of crazy.
I know. So this when this was like the vibe when you like couldn't remember. This is like
Yeah.
this is what the technology was. This is the clothes, like everything. Yeah, it's amazing.
If I ever need to learn about 2004, I'm just gonna press play on this movie, and
Yes.
it's so iconic and so funny. I love it. And Lindsay Lohan in this movie, you're right, 2004, like she screams it. Like the hair,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. Also, this movie gives like very like New York vibes, which is like I feel like a very early 2000s trope.
Yes. Okay, that's such a good point. Even like the opening scenes of her in New York pretending to like be dropped off, like in her like Audrey Hepburn Tiffany's outfit and stuff. It plays into just a lot of, you know, the daydreams of a teenager wanting to like live in New York. It's really fun.
Yeah, and it's also based off of a book.
I
Like
didn't, oh yes.
I was shocked.
Okay, I did know that, but I totally forgot. But it totally was because I remember back in 2004, I would have been like 12 or something, like perfect age for this movie, I feel like. And the book, you know, when books, like obviously they have their original book covers, but then a movie comes out and they replace it with the movie one.
Yeah.
I remember this one came out with like all of the Lindsay Lohans like doing like different poses in different like outfits. And I wanted it so bad, but I don't think I ever got
No,
it.
I was like hoping that this had a happy ending.
No, it didn't. It didn't. It didn't.
It no, when I found out that it's based off of a book, it just kind of made more sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. And so honestly, we'll get right into characters with our very first character, which is Mary, aka Lola, played by Lindsay Lohan. And so she is something else. Like right off the bat, she like introduces herself as Lola, but there's really no reasoning for it. And she's like living this new life, like she's a fish out of water, if you will. And she's just so funny.
Yeah, she really is. It's so interesting for this movie, like, because she's the main character, but she's like not the most popular girl in the school. That's Megan Fox. But like I don't know, has a lot of like she has kind of like a wacky mom that's kind of like new age, doesn't like microwaves and stuff like that. And it's just a different story, I feel like, than we've seen before, where she like overcomes, you know, just moving to like a new school and moving to the suburbs and stuff. But she's the star, like the star power is just everything.
It really is. And obviously, Megan Fox has to be the most popular person in the school because, like,
Yes.
it's Megan Fox. But
Yes,
she
yes.
is in like her own little like universe. I think like living her own life. She's also a liar. She lies all of the time.
Yeah, that was another interesting thing that, again, like usually I feel like in these types of movies, the lead, yeah, maybe not the most popular, but like the down to earth, like really good kid would never lie or anything. And she straight up lies like throughout the whole movie.
It's so weird too. Like literally her only goal is to like meet this guy.
I
And then she
know.
just lies her way to the top. And it's like, for what?
Literally for what? Yeah. She's the original like anti-hero, like before
It's just
before that
so
character is popular.
I don't even understand like why she did. Like her motives, I think like were just off.
Yeah, like when Ella finally confronts her and then she's like, I just wanted to be interesting. I was like, your life is interesting, like Ella says, without all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think I would get along with her. I'd probably clash with her like a lot. But I mean, I respect her little grind that she's got going on.
yes, same,
Like
same.
I understand. I really do. But it was just that was the one thing I didn't like about her. Lindsay Lohan, perfect, amazing.
Yes.
Lying and like all that, Not amazing.
No, not at all. It was hard to root for her at some points. I was like, you're kind of a bad friend. Like,
No, I could not root for her. Like, I had no like, and at the end when she's like, Megan Fox's character like steps in to like play her role as like the understudy or whatever, and then she like is about to spray her with hairspray.
She's literally threatening her with a can of hairspray.
And then she ends up spraying the teacher with the hairspray.
Yeah.
Like, girl, you're all out of whack. Like,
yeah, that was not a good look.
No. And it's her fault because she's the one who didn't show up. So like,
totally, like she was gonna bail, which was yeah, she's kind of hard to root for now that we're really talking about it. I was like, those are bad looks.
No, it's just as a person in theater, if someone did that, like didn't come on purpose and then their understudy like stepped in or like anything, it's like you weren't gonna come. Like, why are you about to spray me with hairspray if it's your fault?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But I think I digress a little bit because Megan Fox's character, Carla, kind of an icon.
I know, just her one-liners and her delivery is just so good. And it's like, no wonder Megan Fox played this type of character in like Mary-Kate and Ashley movies and like on Hope and Faith and like tons of other TV shows, because I'm like, she can just deliver it with just the most, like her face, it's just so cold. Like, it's so good.
It is so good because I feel like, hot take, I liked the villain more than like the protagonist. Like, she was so iconic. Her outfits were also iconic. And it's like Megan Fox. How can you not want to like
be friends with her?
Yeah, and it's also crazy because, you know, she's been in the news so much lately with Machine Gun Kelly, you know, tying that Ready to Be Petty like vibe.
Yes. It's
just like, I kind of was just like, oh my gosh, like I kind of forgot about her for a hot second. And then she like got with Machine Gun Kelly, and then it's like, that's all I talk about.
Me too. And like, this is her roots, and it's just so wild to see where she is now and where she was in 2004.
Definitely two different people.
Yes. Even her like tan, I'm like, she's going for like the pale goth vibe now, and like in this movie she like, and I feel like in all of the other ones she was like really tan and stuff, so she's like a different person.
And her little like posse clique, like the OG like Plastics, also iconic.
Yes, they are the OG Plastics. And gay, I didn't look this up, but one of the girls was from Life with Derek. Did you ever watch that show?
Yes, I have.
Okay, perfect. She was Casey.
Oh my God.
Yes. But she has blonde hair in this movie, so it took me like a few seconds to be like, oh my God, that's Casey.
Oh wait, that is her. That is her.
Yes.
No, this movie, just there's so many little iconic bits about it that it's just, we can't forget about it. Like, it's that's why I'm so upset that I hadn't seen this before this episode.
Me too.
I mean, that was how it was with Princess Diaries. Like, I had not seen either of them, and both of my guests were like so shocked
because that movie like changed many lives.
I know. I feel like this one too. Like, I just feel like I'm such like so late to this party. But like, I'm glad that I like arrived. Better late than never. Better late than never. Yeah. So Carla, iconic. Honestly, I have to say, can't deny it. Oh, agreed. Ella. She was something.
Yes, she was. Sometimes like I really felt for her because I was like, Lola is not understanding like your boundaries, and you're like just not respecting your decisions of like wanting to like go home and be honest with her parents and like stuff like that. But then sometimes I was like, girl, just like go with the flow.
She's just like, she deserved a better friend. Like, Lola just wasn't giving what needed to be given.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. They're just complete opposites. So yeah, I totally agree.
It just personally wasn't rooting for it, but like I was kind of like I respected her little friendship and that she
Mm-hmm.
kind of like got closer to her as she transitioned to this new life,
Mm-hmm.
but she deserved better. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad the scene that she like actually calls her out in Stu Wolf's bedroom and says like no more lies.
yeah, I mean, she's just constantly lying. Like it's not the vibe. Stop.
No.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Yes. Yes.
I just yeah. So that's my little rant about that friendship. But now we need to talk about Stu because whoa.
I know. I was like, this is kind of weird vibes. You're like an older, like rock star, and you're like hanging out with these kids and then going to like a high school party. It was just kind of weird.
It was I was like trying to find the word for this and my friend helped me find the word. It's like a fan fiction.
It is. It is. It absolutely is. Like when she's like, and like sometimes I didn't because she had so many daydreams in the film that I was
Mm.
like, okay, is this just like her daydreaming or is this real? But when they were like dancing at the end, I was like, this is so awkward and like uncomfortable. And then it
The
like turns into Sam.
it was just so like much. Like the whole thing with like Stu like and his life being like completely like horrible. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
off always drunk. He needs to get
Mm-hmm.
sober and he needs to like help like fix one another. It's like really weird because like she's a teenager and like this is a grown man like who's
Yeah.
drunk
Yeah.
nonetheless. Like it's
Yes.
kind of creepy.
Absolutely. And I can't believe that in 2004 when I watched this, I just like skimmed over that part. Like I probably didn't even question it. And now watching it back, I'm like, this is kind of horrible.
It just was uncomfortable for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like if I would be willing to help a drunk person get their life together as a
Yeah.
17-year-old old, but like you do you boo. Like
Yeah. Yeah. And it was
it
just so funny when she was like reciting lyrics to him and he was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
it just was so uncomfortable and like the like when he gives her the necklace like towards the end like it just was so I didn't like it. I didn't like Stu.
No, me neither. Not at all.
It's just like, oh my gosh, I really want to meet this guy. Then I finally do, and his life's a mess. Like,
Yeah. And it also just didn't seem like the type of band that Ella or Lola would like. Like it was seemed like it was like a 70s or 80s like rock band. It just I don't know. That part didn't make sense to me.
yeah, it was just overall weird plot line to this movie because I liked like the whole theater, like high school, like fish out of water thing. But the
Me
second you added
too.
like this singer, like I need to meet this man, it got like weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it was weird because I was like, what is the love story? Is it between her and Stu or is it her and Sam? Because I'm hoping it's Sam. Like, it's so creepy that
No,
you're like
because
setting it up to be Stu.
at the end, I really was like, are they gonna kiss? Are they about to kiss
Me
right
too.
now?
Me too. Okay. I'm so glad I wasn't the only one. I was like, oh my God, like, why am I thinking like this? But it literally was set up like that.
No, I really thought they were about to kiss, and I was literally like, no, no, I'm gonna turn it off. Like, I will be boycotting this movie.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that's what happened and I was like the one to suggest watching it?
I
Like,
would be like, I am petty about this.
yeah, canceled.
Yeah, I would like literally, I would have been like, hey, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah,
No, it was
same.
just so scary. Like, I really thought it was about to happen. But also, I think we need to talk about Sam because he was literally in there for like 2 minutes.
I know. Okay, it was funny because I was really thinking how this reminded me of Cheetah Girls, which is the first movie we covered,
Oh
because
yes, throwback.
remember Raven Simone's love interest was there for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, no, what's up with like Disney and these like iconic actresses not getting their love interests?
I know. And having these like loser boys just like in there for like 2 seconds. Like he didn't even like talk in any of the scenes.
He didn't, but like it's so funny because it's like they put Sam in there to be the love interest, but Stu seemed more like the love interest because Sam had such a lack of like interest, because there was nothing about him that was like, oh my gosh, Sam, go you.
Yeah, totally. Do you think like they had a pressure at this point, like speaking of Cheetah Girls and in this movie, do you think that they had a pressure to shoehorn a love story into movies to like market them? Because I'm like, it just doesn't make sense in Cheetah Girls or this movie. And I wonder if they just thought that they needed to have that, where it's like the real story is between like Lola learning not to lie and like her friendship with Ella. So like they didn't need that part.
They didn't. I feel like I agree with that. Like they were like, oh, let's put a love interest in because it adds like a subplot. But like if you're not developing the love as the movie goes along, it's not worth the subplot. It's not worth the wasted time.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about the love interest in Cheetah Girls, honestly, because of the lack of love interest. So
I can't even name him. Like
it's I just don't like the vibe of the like adding the love interest, because this movie would have done so much better without it.
Totally. And we just if you can't like get on board and believe it because you don't see them together, then like what's the point?
Yeah, like I just didn't care because it just felt so rushed. So I kind of felt bad because, you know, Sam did have potential, but
yeah, he stole the dress for her. So
that was like the one plot point that he had.
Literally. And like, again, I didn't love that he was like playing into her like kind of bad behavior.
Yeah, he was like kind of reinforcing that. He was like, oh, lies.
Yeah, let's just steal the dress, like whatever, no big deal. So I didn't love that.
Neither did I. Don't vibe with that. But I did vibe with our next character, the teacher, Miss Bagoli, I think is her name. She's an icon.
Yeah, she's so funny. I thought that they were gonna set her up for a love story. Not that she had any inkling of that, but I just thought it was the character, the trope that like kind of the nerdy teacher, and that the character like in Clueless when they like set her up with another teacher just so she like chills out a little bit.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking the same thing. Like I thought they were gonna like try and set her up with someone, and then she was gonna have like this big makeover and this big reveal.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And it didn't happen, which
no,
I am very kind of sad about that. Like,
yeah,
take the Sam and the Stu plot line, get rid of it, and put this like makeover thing in, and it would have been so iconic.
Yeah, or like, what about if Stu sweeps Miss Bergoli off her feet?
I would have been okay with that because it would have got Stu off of Lola.
Yes, absolutely. Like that's a more age appropriate relationship. And then it's like he could have been like, I'm gonna contribute like my music to your next play.
It was just so like funny. Like these adults in this movie are so funny. And I like she had this quote that I wrote down, and she said, I know I'm just a teacher, but I am capable of thought. Like,
what was that?
It was just so like funny. Like, and like the way she was like so awkward, like with the hair and the glasses and the outfits too, like the outfits.
Yeah, it was just so stereotypical. Like it was just like, what can we add to this character to like make sure the audience knows she's like a fish out of water, like glasses, hair, dress, like
She
Awkward movements.
seems like a cat lady.
Absolutely. Like,
That
100%.
that's the vibe, but I loved her. Like you can't say that you didn't love her. Like in my
No,
opinion.
she's super fun. She's super fun. Yeah. And it was just so funny when she goes into the drama like department office where the costumes are, and she's like looking for everything, and then Sam's head is like on one of the mannequins and she just like doesn't notice. Like, okay.
And the scene when she gets sprayed with like the hairspray in her eyes, and then she's like, "It's good to see you." She can't even see.
I'm like, oh my God.
But I don't understand. This is my question. If she had the glasses on, I don't remember if she had them on during that scene, but like, how
She
did it get
must
into
have.
her eyes? Like,
That's such a good point that I didn't even think of.
like I am a little confused, but
Yeah, me
like,
too.
maybe she is wearing contacts. Maybe she was just feeling
Yeah, for
herself
her.
that day.
Yeah, for the big opening night.
The big, so she's got to direct those kids with the computers.
Yes, exactly. The orchestra.
It was honestly a great part. I liked it. Lola's mother, what was going on with her?
I don't know. Like, it just made a lot of sense that Lola was her daughter. Like, I just feel like when she was doing like her hunger strike and like all of this just like ridiculous stuff, that her mom, like at some point she was like, okay, stop, like you have to eat and stuff, you're being
Mhm.
ridiculous. But she kind of just like let her do some of her like wilder things, and I kind of appreciated that. But yeah, she was a little bit of a nut.
She was just always something was going on with her. Like it was hard to take her as a serious character.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't usually, I feel like in these types of movies, like get to know the parents. Like they're often like absent in these types of movies. So I did appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of appreciated that she was there, even if it wasn't like giving us a whole lot to work with.
Agreed.
Yeah. Also, the dad, he didn't like do anything. So
Yeah, that was again super weird, like following Ella and Lola like down the streets and stuff like that. But at least he didn't die like like Lola originally
I
said.
was gonna say, she literally was like, "Oh yeah, he died." Like
Yeah.
that was one of the lies that was just like, are we okay?
Yeah, you're right. Because like some of the lies were like pretty, small things. But that one I was like, oof, like, do you not want to be like long-term friends with Ella? Because obviously she's gonna find that out sooner rather than later.
And like, also, it's your dad. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And it seemed like they had a good relationship. So I was like, why did you have to lie about that?
she lied about everything. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't
Yes.
stand her. Like, I can't do it. I can't stand her.
Oh my God.
That's how I felt about her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there were obviously some more like other characters, but the good bulk of the characters that we've already discussed were the ones carrying this movie throughout its ups, its downs, the somewhere in between, the weird like musical storyline, which we'll get into, but it was appreciated. And also the music in this movie, iconic.
It's so good. It's such a good soundtrack. Like, I think that's why I originally, because you were like, what movie do you want to do? And I literally think I was just like listening to the soundtrack. It was like, let's do this one.
No, literally, I am so glad because I really was down. Obviously, I'm open to talking about anything now, which is like great because it gives me so many more options. And so when
Mhm.
I like ask people, I'm like, just whatever your heart desires, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so fun.
I'm so glad your heart desired this one.
Yes, yeah, me too, me too.
It's just so amazing. And this is also like in Lindsay Lohan's like album era where she released Rumors.
Oh my God, it's so good. She just had like, I'm kind of when I think about her, I'm kind of just like sad that she like her career didn't, skyrocket. Like this was like her peak, I feel like, and that kind of makes me sad. But she is coming out with like a rom-com on Netflix next year. So maybe she's like, this is her comeback era. But I just want what's best for her because she's just so talented. Like some of her music was cheesy, but like I loved it. And then
Yeah,
her acting is so great and she's so beautiful and smart. And yeah, I just really like her.
me too. I feel like you're right. This was definitely like her peak, but I definitely think that she might have her comeback era.
I really hope so. Like a Netflix rom-com, like it's done well for like Vanessa Hudgens and stuff. So it
Oh
could,
my God, Vanessa. Her like
yeah.
Princess Switch movies.
Oh my gosh, like she's the queen of Netflix Christmas.
No, it's so funny. Like all of these streaming service movies, they're pulling these people out of the woodwork, and it's so like funny. Like HBO Max actually is a really good selection of like that stuff. I'm like,
Oh, wild.
yeah, well, I was like watching the Gossip Girl like
Yes.
reboot, revival. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's like
Yeah.
HBO Max because it also has good content for the podcast. Because I was kind of like not budge because everyone's like, oh, it's not really worth it, but I budged and I got
Yeah,
HBO
yeah.
Max.
Okay, yes. I've been enjoying some of their TV shows, but I should look into like if you're saying the movies are good too.
I would say like it has a pretty good selection of like older movies. Like it has Cinderella Story on there, like the OG, like the good ones. The good ones.
Oh, I love that. One of
Yeah.
my
I,
favorites.
I like every time I go and look, I find something new. So like it's doing good for the podcast. So
Okay,
I'll
nice.
take
I
I'll
love
take
that.
it. I'll take
Yes.
it.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we should get into like the plot of this movie because it's a lot. Lindsay
Yeah.
Lohan being 15 in this movie, she does not look 15.
No, no. It's like how they do that now with Gossip Girl and Euphoria and Riverdale and stuff. It feels like that.
Yeah, Euphoria. Euphoria. I was also watching Euphoria on HBO Max.
Yes, yes. Where it's like a 30-year-old playing like a 15-year-old. It's just like it's so obviously not a teenager.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels in this movie. And she wants to be a famous Broadway actress, which go her, live your dream, live your goals. And she moves to this suburbs in New Jersey. And the line that I wrote down, because it's like so interesting, is a legend is about to be born. That legend would be me.
Yeah, she just thinks so highly of herself and it's just so funny. Her narration of the movie is so good. Like it's just so good. This movie has like I feel like some of the one-liners are like just way better than the actual plot of the movie.
They honestly are because the plot of this movie is good, but it's all over the place. And sometimes that's not good for the movie because if it's all over the place, it's hard to focus, whatever.
Mhm.
But like her like tying it together with the bow with her narrations, I like that
Me
for sure.
too.
Even if she's very full of herself, very, very full of herself.
Yeah.
She ends up being friends with Ella, which, as we talked about, is kind of an icon and deserved better.
Yeah, she really did. It's so funny when she meets Carla as well. And then Carla about Ella is like, her glasses are so 10 minutes ago. Like,
It's just so like interesting because you can't forget about the band that like they both love. And it's like Stu, oh my God.
I know. It just is so weird. And like she busts out the scrapbook and they have all these pins of the band and stuff. And I'm like, this is so cringe.
It is very like early 2000s. It's giving like Stuck in the Suburbs.
Very much so.
That's what the vibe I got with like this whole band, like popular singer. And so She meets Sam, who we talked about, literally does nothing except for steal the dress.
Yeah.
He starts to like her, obviously all that good stuff. Carla, they hate each other's guts.
Mm-hmm.
Classic high school storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. They're competing for the same role. It seems like, yeah, Carla has the whole school on lockdown. It's such a trope, but I love it too much to care.
The even crazier thing is I would like compare this to Mean Girls, but this came out before Mean Girls. So it's like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I can do that.
I know, but there's some aspects of it that is like a blueprint for Mean Girls. Just like the girl gang, the plastics,
Yeah, I always like call it the
everything.
plastics or like the Regina George. So like we have Carla, who's the Regina George of this movie, and she
Mm-hmm.
literally has the whole school like wrapped around her finger. Like everyone loves her. I don't understand why. I mean, it's Megan Fox, but like
Yeah. And she's like
personality
super
wise,
rich. Yeah. She's mean. She's feared. She's super rich. Yeah, just, I guess maybe what people like want to be. Like maybe they idolize her in that way. But yeah. And she has like her two little lackey friends that just like follow her around.
yeah, it's classic. It's a classic 2004, early 2000s Mean Girls kind of vibe. The musical also is like this modernized version of this play, which I looked up and I don't know how to say it. So we're just gonna.
I was
The modernized version is called Eliza Rocks.
yeah. I was like, I really hope Matthew's gonna say it because I don't want to say like it, say what the play is. Pelagram?
Pigmalon? Polygama? I don't know. It's really weird.
I
But
don't
however,
know.
it translates into Eliza Rocks.
Yeah, yeah. I had never really heard of it before. They're like, it's a classic, like Shakespeare and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but I haven't heard of it. So I
The
don't
the best part is it's not even by Shakespeare. Like I literally did the research and I'm
know.
pretty sure that they said it was Shakespeare.
I know they kept on like talking about like how everything like Stu was the new Shakespeare and stuff, and then they didn't even do a play by Shakespeare. It didn't make sense, especially because like in this era also this modernizing of classics was really popular. Like She's the Man is based off of and like Sydney White, like those are based off of, and even like talking about a Cinderella story and stuff,
Yeah.
like they're like classic fairy tales, plays, whatever that have been modernized. So yeah, this one was just like super random.
It was a time though, because Eliza Rocks, like that's it's great.
Yeah.
They both want to play Eliza, Carla, and Lola. However, Lola ends up beating her.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have like this whole dancing video game at the arcade scene.
Oh my God, the DDR scene where they just like no one does that. It was very the kissing booth.
The kissing booth. Another good Netflix rom-com.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, please cover that. Like I would love to listen.
No, I will because I have so many thoughts.
Yeah, me too, me too. But it's just like this isn't realistic. No one plays Dance Dance Revolution like this. You're not like jumping over the bar doing like splits and stuff. Like it was just it's so fake, but it's something that I just love to watch in movies.
It was so good. Like this whole
Yeah.
like part of the movie was such a fever dream.
Yes. Yes.
Like they both were like arguing over tickets to this concert. Like, oh, I have tickets. No, I have to make tickets. Like you can both have tickets if you really wanted to. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's and it's like the farewell concert, whatever. And it's so like interesting. She doesn't end up getting the tickets though. Lola lied. What's new?
Yeah. What's new?
And it just kind of becomes this whole thing where she's about to get like do her chores or something like that to get this allowance, but then it gets sold out. Then she like buys them from like a scalper, I think is the word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or at least she tries, but she forgot the money on the train or whatever.
Yeah, it's something very interesting. And you can't forget that she's like supposed to wear this like dress that they stole to the concert.
Yeah, and it's like a dress that you wouldn't wear to a concert. Like I was like, why? It was so weird that she chose, this is so nitpicky, but like she chose this like red tight like dress with like a bow when I was like, your Eliza Rocks like shiny pants, pink and yellow like top would have fit in so much better than this like formal dress. It was so weird.
It was such an interesting choice. It was ugly, kind of.
Yes, yes. It was so ugly that it was like so 2004. Like, even just when they go to the party and like it like scans the room and you see what people are wearing. It's so fun.
And like this is kind of giving like when all of the girls at my school went to the Harry Styles concert and they're like, what do I wear? What am I supposed to wear? I have to wear this dress or like a cowboy hat with the boa. Like this was literally the talk of my school for like a whole like 4 weeks. It was like, this is the same vibe because it's like you want to dress up at this concert, but like, why?
In crazy clothes. I feel like it's the type of fashion that you like how we're looking back on it now being like, oh my gosh, cringe. It's like the Harry Styles girls are gonna be like, oh my gosh, what was I wearing? Like my
some of them are
pants.
Cute. Some of them are cute. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But like some of them agree to disagree.
Yes, exactly.
It was just a lot to take in. And so they go to like this after party thing, even though they don't get to like sneak into the concert because they didn't get tickets. She forgot the money, like all like classic early 2000s, like fumbles going on. Stu is very drunk at this party. He like passes out in this alley.
Yeah, in like heaps of garbage.
And then the girls are like, oh, well, I guess we'll help sober you up. Like, what?
Yeah. And then he like tries to eat a hamburger and they're like, just coffee. I was like, the hamburger, not that that sobers you up, but it's like, I'm just like, he should probably eat something.
He probably should. Like, I'm not sure coffee was like the best option for him. That whole restaurant scene was kind of funny too.
Yeah, I know. But like, there was so many adults there and I was like, you're not going to question why a super drunk like asshole, sorry for my language.
No, you're all okay. I was going to say it, so like it's probably better that you said it.
Yes. A super drunk like kind of loser is with these two 15-year-old girls and like everyone like looks and then just doesn't bat an eye.
Like what?
So confusing.
Crazy. It like then they go to the police station and then she has to like give her father's like address and then it's like, wait, your father's not dead?
Yeah, and it was actually so sad when Ella was like, oh my gosh, she must have lied to the police because she couldn't have lied to me.
That was so sad. Like, heartbreakingly sad.
Literally. And then Lola again, like, she was like, oh no, I didn't lie. My dad's alive. Like, he lives on Bleecker Street or whatever. And then she's like, so you lied to me? And she like didn't care.
Like, it's so like horrible. Like this friendship is so bad.
Yeah. Ella deserved better.
Yeah. And then it just kind of gets worse from here because like we have like the whole like, oh, Stu isn't what I thought he was. Like I was so in love with this man. Like, what?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're famous. Like everyone, I guess, 15 is thinking this, but I was like, oh, the person that you like don't know anything about in real life doesn't turn out to be like Prince Charming. Like, what a surprise. Like, no one could have seen that coming.
Yeah, literally. How could you not have seen that coming? But like 2022 is way different than 2004. So
yes. Like we would have seen Stu on like Instagram Live and TikTok, and like he would have shown his true colors before they met.
but still funny, still iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And so no one like believes that she like met Stu and like how she left her like necklace. It's like a whole like big lie. Like, she's been lying this entire time. So this must be a lie too, right?
Yeah. And like I was like, okay, good. She's getting a taste of her own medicine. Like finally all of her lies caught up to her and people see that she was lying. And why should she get like the benefit of the doubt when she wasn't telling the truth the whole time? But then there was a part of me that kind of also felt bad for her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as much as I hated her, I did kind of feel bad for her.
Me too. Just because I was like, obviously the lies were coming from like kind of like insecurities and stuff. Not that it makes it right or anything, but like obviously she was making that up to like, fit in and get friends and be cool and stuff like that. So I did kind of feel bad, especially when they like, so that was in like one of their classes and then they go to the rehearsal for the play and then like everyone just like openly mocks her.
Yeah, that was like this whole like ending scene is like it's more than a scene, but it's like this whole like ending like hurrah is like an up and downhill emotion. Like do I feel bad for her? Do I like want her to am I rooting for her? Still probably no.
Yeah. Yes,
But it's the
yes.
thought that counted.
Yes, exactly.
Because then she gets all like sad, and she's like, I'm not going to perform in the play. But then Ella's like, you have to. And then it's right before Carla is about to take over. And it's like the whole like hairspray thing. They do like the little dance numbers, the little computer orchestra, all the things.
And it's
it
so
looked
funny.
good. It looked
good. Yeah, the set was good. The choreography was good. But what was like her accent and stuff? Like,
I don't know. I still don't understand like what the plot of this play was besides like the supermarket. Like,
oh my God, it was so funny. Yeah, because she was like not the best actress in the play. Like not Lindsay Lohan, but just like Lola. But obviously she was like great at singing. She has stage presence. Like it was all good.
and it also gets even better because like then they go to the after party where Stu is there and it's like this whole necklace thing and it's just a lot. And this is when I thought they were about to kiss and I almost threw up.
I know. I was so concerned. And yeah, the necklace, like people nowadays buy that like from Etsy. Like people make those like Coke bottle necklaces and you can like buy them. That's how iconic it is.
Yeah, that I kind of like that though. Like that's cute.
Yeah, I'm sure some girls wore it to hairstyle, something like that. Like, honestly.
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen inspired like outfit.
Yes.
That would have been good. Honestly, if you did that and you're listening to this, I need pics.
Yes. Please send pics. Oh my God.
Honestly,
oh my
in general, if you went to Harry Styles and you're listening to this, I do want to see your outfits.
Yeah,
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yes.
So send them our way.
Yes.
We would love to offer our feedback.
Yes. I love doing that.
Yeah, this ending is pretty good. And then Lola and Sam dance and then they kiss and it's like, yay, ending.
Yeah. Again, super random that after like all of this personal growth from Lola and, her friendship with Ella being kind of the central storyline, it ends with like the guy. It was very classic 2004.
It was still iconic though.
I know.
Still funny.
Yes.
Like, I am so glad that you picked this movie.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. I'm so happy.
Well, now the best part of that, so Matthew, is the rating. What are we thinking?
I'm so conflicted. Because the nostalgia element for me, I know like brings like I know that I am not objective. I know that I am biased. I want to hear yours first.
Okay, I will. So for me, being the first time watching this,
Yeah.
I loved it and hated it at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes.
But I think that everything together is so like solid that I'm gonna have to give it like a 7.5, maybe an 8.
Okay. So we're on like the same page. I was worried that I was like gonna be like, I'm giving it an 8, and you're like, it's a 3.
I mean, I'm pretty sure in the Cheetah Girls episode, I kind of ripped it to shreds in my rating.
You did. And I was still like, this is iconic, 10 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure I gave it like a 6.5. Like, what was I thinking? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is my formal apology to you for that.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I'm glad that you like didn't let me, because I would have let Lola off the hook for like all of this stuff because the movie's just so iconic. So I'm glad that you like hold me accountable.
Yeah, no,
Like, truly.
you're not able to get out of that. She was such a horrible person. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's no defending her, in my opinion.
No, there truly isn't. And like, I think the thing, before I say my rating, I think the thing is like, if you can imagine what happens after this movie concludes, she probably continues to lie. Like, I felt like she learned her lesson like a little bit, but not like fully.
I just, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, she's hard to root for. But yeah, I wanted to give it an 8 because I think the costumes, the one-liners, and just some of the, like, I love when characters can deliver lines so seriously, even though they're like absolutely ridiculous. So, and I loved the soundtrack. So I gave it an 8, but I totally agree. Like, points off for the weird Stu Wolf situation.
Every time you just say it, like, it's just such a
Yeah.
red flag,
The biggest red flag. And points off just for like being a bit confusing, to be honest. I was like, is this real? Is this fantasy? Like, it was just a little bit all over the place, but that also makes it iconic.
Yeah. Did I miss your rating, or have we not gotten there?
I think I'm sticking with an 8.
Okay.
I think slightly above yours, but I think yours is super fair. I feel like if I didn't have the nostalgic, like, sentimental feelings towards this movie and these characters, I would have given it much lower.
Okay. Fair enough. See, I didn't rip your ratings to shreds.
Yes.
And I also, like, I used to be so harsh with ratings. Like, who let me do this? Like, why did people still tune in? Like,
you've softened over 100+ episodes.
Yeah, no, I really have. I'm like 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Yes. You should, Kate, and maybe you do have this, but do you have a ranking list?
I do not. I think I need to do that.
You do. Put it on your website, like all your movies, with all of the ratings, and where they
that's
land.
my project. That's gonna be my project.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. You do so much for that. So Matthew, so I don't want to put another thing on your plate, but I think that would be like, I want to know what you've rated like highest. I
can tell you probably the one that comes to mind right now is High School Musical 2.
Oh, of course.
And Cowbells. Cowbells is another one.
Oh, I love Allie and AJ.
Yeah, me too. I really want to go to their concert. They're coming like close to me. Like, I really want to go.
Their new album, or like newish, is so good.
It's so good. They just came out with the deluxe, and so I'm back in my Allie and AJ era.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. Yeah.
I'm living my best life.
They also, like, I feel like had the star power and kind of not fizzled out, but kind of, not as big as maybe they could have been. So I just wish them the best.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where they continue to go though, because their newer music has really gotten good.
Yes. It's like real music. It's not like the Disney stuff that I like.
That was good, but their stuff now is even better.
Is like real music, but like I only listen to like Disney Channel music anyways. So like,
yeah,
who am I to say?
Yeah, no, this was a great movie. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming back on the podcast because I had a blast.
Oh, me too. Thanks for having me. It's always really fun to chat with you and get your perspective on these movies.
Oh yeah. I feel like when I don't rip you to shreds
for your
ratings, it's a great time.
Agreed. 100%. I was like, you go first.
You go first. You just were so scared.
Yeah. I was like, should I change it? No, I stuck with my guns.
No. Yeah. Don't change for me. Where can people check out Ready to Be Petty and all the fun stuff that you have to offer?
Yes. You can find Ready to Be Petty on all podcast platforms. We're talking about entertainment news, celebrity gossip, reality TV, and you can find me on socials at RTBP Podcast.
Yes, make sure to go check out Torry's podcast. I'll also link her Instagram and her podcast in the show notes so that everyone can go check out what she has to offer, all of her fun stuff, all of her Bachelor content, because Bachelor right now,
it's spicy.
It's a lot. And it's always so fun with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the places at That's So Matthew. Hopefully I'll get back into my podcast TikTok, still locked out. But we're working on it. Make sure you go check out my website, that'smatthew.com. And eventually, maybe by the time this comes out, I will have my ratings on my website too.
Yes, I'm so excited to just like do an absolute deep dive of those.
No, I'm going to literally start that today.
Oh,
This is me holding myself accountable by recording it and saying it. I have to do it.
You're manifesting it.
Yes. And yes, thank you all so much. And I'll talk to you all in another episode again soon. Bye.